Rocket sports fans. We're back for another year of the show. We have Coach Courtney here today. We've got a lot to talk about. I mean, we've got scrimmages. We've got the last spring game we hadn't had an opportunity to even talk about. And now we've got Webster staring square in our face here to open the season. So we appreciate you being on the show here, presented by Whitetail Properties and all of our other affiliates who help us bring you all this digital reporting from Rocket football season. Another season. Coach Courtney, this is what, 4 for you?
As the head coach, this will be 3.
3. Three as head coach.
Yeah. And I don't even know.
Time
6 total, I think.
Zips
at
away.
The Rockets, yeah.
Yeah, it just gets going, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, first thing, speaking of how time gets away, to a good number of our Rocket fans, the 1985 season just seems like it was not long ago. It was many years back, but it seems like it wasn't that far back. And we lost Buddy McDaniel, the quarterback of the 1985 team, passed away in his sleep a few days ago. And our thoughts and our prayers are with his family. It's got to be a very difficult time, very unexpected. Buddy was a great soul, always smiling, and a great athlete, 3-sport athlete. So take a few seconds here. We're just going to take a quick moment of silence, and everybody remember Buddy. All right. Well, you can even reflect more on Buddy as the days go by. The funeral is it's today, Thursday. So put a message on the funeral homes board if you want to reflect on Buddy. And he was a big part of Crittenden County football.
Yeah, he was a guy that I've never met, but I've heard a ton about. And you feel like you get to know a lot of those guys on the 85 team, and he was one of the main ones that you heard about. I assume he moved away after at some point. But, man, Coach Hodge spoke very highly of him all the time, how good he was and what a good teammate he was. So even though I didn't necessarily know him, I know he's a big part of Rocket football history and meant a lot to a lot of those guys. And you kind of feel like you know him as much as you've heard about him.
As much as you've heard.
Yeah.
In fact, that's him in the picture behind you.
Right.
Of course, he was a left-hander. He's got the ball in the other hand, but
he can do it all.
Yeah, Buddy. Of course, that sketch by Nicky Porter. He did a lot of those back of the '85 team. Anyway, Coach Courtney, we got to get going because we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
I tell you, let's start off and we'll just talk a little bit about Webster County and what you expect this week. And then we'll get right into, we kind of want to preview the season. Okay. And if any of you want to see more, it's all in the Crittenden Press this week. Andy Hunt has tons of stuff on the Rocket website. Yes. You can get on there and read all you want. I promise you, it's almost endless. So we want to start just talk a little bit about Webster County. They have a new coach. Your buddy LaGrange was over there for a few years, and now they have a new guy who McMillan. Is it?
I believe it's pronounced Coach Milam. I've had the opportunity to meet him once. Really nice guy, but don't know him personally. But yeah.
They kept the ball on the ground last year. We barely got by them to start the season. 14-7, I believe.
Yeah, really tough game, and they had the ball at the end.
And then they ended up only winning 3 games. They ended up 4-7, but one was with forfeit, I think. Right. But they completed 12 passes all year, 12 of 48.
Really? That's
Otherwise, they were on the ground and rushed for over 2,000. The guy that carried a lot of those, Edens, is back.
He's back.
So go ahead and tell us about Webster County.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with a new coach, there can be some new things that are unexpected, but we expect them to be similar as far as what they do offensively. Looking at their scrimmages that they've done, it looks like they're going to be a wing tee team. Once again, probably going to keep the ball on the ground a lot. And the Edens kid is still there, like you said, and only a junior. He seems really old because he's been carrying the load or been one of their better players since he was a freshman. A kid I really think a lot of. And to me, one of the better backs in Western Kentucky. Really runs hard, really athletic. And they'll find ways with the misdirection and get him in space and things like that where he can really become a big issue. Just overall at Webster County, I think Zach laid a good foundation, and I believe that this coach feels that they, can take the next step forward, and I do too. I believe it's a program on the rise. When you look at them from 3rd grade all the way up to high school, man, they've pretty well dominated Little League some, and their middle school team was really good, and JV, were a really good team last year. So just feel like that, they're a team that's really on the up, that we're going to have to come out and really play well to be able to win this football game. They showed us that last year.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like, that they're going to give us all that we want in this game. We're going to have to play really well to come out with a win.
And, the last 40 years they haven't had that. They've beaten us 6 times in the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've beaten them 13 in a row now.
Right.
It's kind of been one you just mark down as a win on your schedule, but you can't do that this time.
No, I think they showed us that last year. That that I felt like that was kind of our mentality, that we didn't come in as focused as we should have, and they about whooped us. And I think this year surely we know that we won't fall for that again. That they proved that they're a very formidable opponent and only going to get better. We're really young in spots. Still bringing back to me their best player, who is very much a difference maker. I mean, when I say he's really good, I really, really think that. From the time he was a freshman, I saw that kid was different. So, and their defense, it looks like they've changed defenses. Their defensive coordinator was actually my first middle linebacker when I coached over at Webster County. Grant Carter. Think a lot about him. He was a high energy, very intelligent football player, and really loves it. So I see him doing good things over there, and it's good to see, your former players kind of getting into football. And even if it's at Webster County, he's my guy. And, I like to see what he's doing on defense. And I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah. They've got another kid over there. It's Kautzman, Tyler Kautzman.
Yeah, I'm
he's
not
pretty good ball player.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how you say that, but a very big kid, very physical. I mean, he is a bull, and I believe he's only a sophomore. Yeah, so their core is still young, and they're getting better and better all the time. And I believe he plays middle linebacker and fullback for them. I actually wasn't sure of his name, but I'm pretty sure once you said that, that's who you're talking about. And they wore different numbers in the scrimmages, so that's got me a little messed up. But if it's the kid I'm thinking of, the middle linebacker and the fullback's a really good football player, only a sophomore, runs really hard, and will absolutely lay the wood on you, offensively and defensively.
These two guys we're talking about, I think number 2 and maybe 35 or 36.
That's what I believe it is on the roster, yes.
Yeah. So Webster County, as we said, is a team that, it's a good game typically to start off the season. We're going to play to win this game. But then this schedule we've got this year, been a lot of talk about that, Coach Courtney. Speak to that just a little bit before we get into the nuts and bolts of your personnel.
Just the overall schedule, when you move to 2A, things get tougher to begin with. Mm-hmm. When you put Murray, Caldwell, and Mayfield in your district, things just got really tough right away. And you lose those 1A games. A lot of them don't make sense for 1A teams to want to play you anymore in those opponents, and then you're stuck with a lot bigger schools. With bigger schools come new challenges and things like that. And I just feel always, and I've said it since we took the job, I didn't make the schedule early, but it was a tough schedule, and we've been saying it pretty well every year that I've been there, coach. The schedule's tough. I still believe it prepares us in the end to get where we're going to go. To me, and it's no slight to anybody on the schedule, Mayfield's the toughest team on the schedule. That's our district team. There's no choice in that game. So the goal is we got to try to find a way to beat them. Mm-hmm. So if that's the toughest team on our schedule, I think it makes sense to put other tough teams on your schedule to try to rise to that level.
Well, and probably the second toughest team be Old Cath, Owensboro Catholic, 100%. Who you're going to have to deal with in the playoffs, another 2A team.
That's what I'm saying. So in my opinion, we can try to make a light schedule and maybe feel good about ourselves and win a few ball games, or we can try to really go out and compete. And that's what really matters to me, and I think to these guys. I don't think we want to be paper tigers and look good and feel good about ourselves if we're really not. So that's just where we're at. To me, I hope it shows belief in our program and our guys, because that's what I'm saying. I believe we can go out and compete. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Well, a lot of eyes got bigger when they saw McCracken County on there, but as you said, McCracken, a very good program.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but not one of the top 2 teams you're going to face this year.
Probably not. And Mayfield plays them. Caldwell plays them. I believe Murray plays them. So I believe every team in our district plays McCracken. Yeah. It's not like it's just a real crazy game, in my opinion.
I've already had people asking about getting tickets for that game. I think it could be a sellout.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I hope they're all sellouts.
Yeah,
we're excited to get back to Rocket Stadium and the atmosphere and all that goes on there. And while we're talking about that, Coach Courtney, just want to mention, of all of our partners who help bring us this digital work that we do during football season, I want to single out a couple every week during the show here and just talk about them and get you to reflect a little bit on them as well. But one of our sponsors, Riley Tool Machine. Todd Riley's such a great partner with the school district.
Absolutely.
They've created a program where his company and Saturn over in Sturgis are providing a welding class for students, and what a great deal that is. And he's the voice of the Rockets. He's part of that atmosphere. But Riley Tool Machine, welding, they have fabrication, industrial maintenance, and industrial construction. He's doing a lot of that. I think he does some offshore work now, agricultural equipment on site, mobile repair, and just a man of many facets. And he's grown that business, and man, what a good partner he is.
Yeah, to the community and the football program. Like anything I asked from Todd, if it's I know he had to sandblast our trash can lids and paint them in the off season. I asked him, he's got it done in a couple of days. Obviously, he's the voice of the Rockets. Anytime we're doing a fundraiser, buying signs, or just any way that he can support us, he's called me and asked if we needed anything. Without just looking for ways to donate. Just a great guy in our community. I appreciate him personally, and Rocket Football does. He does a whole lot for us.
And then our other featured sponsor is another guy, just line him up right beside Todd Riley's, Darrick Myers.
Yeah, exactly. And the same type things. He shoots off our Rockets out there, takes no credit for it, but it's a huge part of our production and atmosphere. He's a guy that I think probably likes to be in the background, but what he does is awesome. He's got a cool thing for us. I won't put it out here today. We'll see it, but before our first home opener, that kind of he headed up. It's his idea.
Something new.
Yeah, something new that he's been working on, and with Johnny Newcomb too. I should throw him in there. But man, Darrick, you can't beat him. He runs our golf fundraiser too in the summer to help out the program, and just anything you can ask for him, he'll do it. Yeah. And he loves Rocket football.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He got it's in his blood, isn't it? His
yeah,
daddy
it
was
is with Ronnie. Yeah,
Ronnie Myers' son. Of course, Darrick has USA Mortgage right here in Marion, Kentucky. He's a lending specialist, so anytime you're looking to buy a home, give him a shout and see if he can help you out. Darrick Myers, that signature blast, every
That's
touchdown,
right.
and he pays for all that too.
Yeah,
I mean that's what a lot of people don't know. He takes care of all
time, money, everything, just donates.
Hey, we got a lot of great guys around.
We really do. We really do. We're really blessed.
So let's move right in, Coach Courtney, and let's talk about. I will say, if you want the rest of that schedule, get online, look at the rocketsfootball.com, and you'll see a lot of 4A, 5A, and 6A schools on our schedule this year. But let's move right in to we'll just start with the offense and let you just kind of go position by position, and I guess a natural starting point would be Micah Newcomb at quarterback.
Yeah, I'll just kind of go down the depth chart you've got here in the press. Micah's been awesome. Obviously, was last year and has continued that. Worked really hard in the offseason. Throughout the 7-on-7s, through the scrimmages, he's looked really well. Does run, throw, executing the offense, on schedule, plays. When plays break down also, he looks really good. And you just feel like when he's back there, there's a chance for a good play. Regardless of what happens, he can make something happen. He's really, really showed that in the first two scrimmages of how when things broke down, he just makes it happen, no matter what is happening in front of him or around him. But the most important thing about him is just the type of kid that he is, man. When your best player, and it's probably what most people would say is such a hard worker and so committed to the team and not about himself at all. It's just all about team success. And, man, it just trickles down to the rest of the team. So it's so much easier to coach a kid like him, and it makes the team a lot better and easier to coach as well. So his character is his number one trait, even though he's a great football player. The backup quarterback is Quinn Summers, and man, when Quinn gets his time, it's kind of like Micah. He's going to be a really good player. He'll be ready to go. He is really impressed Austin for a long time, and I've really seen it. This offseason in 7-on-7s when he's got his chances in the scrimmages. Man, he's throwing the ball well. Really got a grasp of the offense. Made a big jump to me. Coach Barry is a quarterback guy, so he kind of sees things a little bit earlier than maybe I would. But I've seen it all coming through this offseason, the success that he's had. So really expect big things for him coming in the future. At running back, we got Gatton Travis. who's been running the show back there for the last 3 years, really. We expect for him to even get better, have a stronger year. I felt like he ended the year last year extremely strong.
Yeah.
He has a ton of ability, all the ability in the world. He's fast. He's not real big, but he is compact, like you want in a running back.
Strong.
Yeah, strong. He can break tackles. He's got great speed. So we expect really good things from him at the running back position. We will rotate a lot back there, especially with Levi Piper. They're kind of 1A, 1B. One could start one game, one could start the next. Really smooth is what stands out to me about Levi. Man, his footwork and the way he can cut and his vision and all those things. Just being a football player, he can do a lot of things on the football field. Mm-hmm. He can catch the ball. Any play he can do is good. He can throw the ball. He's just one of those guys that can do absolutely everything. And just how smooth he is really stands out. He's also got a lot faster in the offseason, I believe. Jacob Carter's a third back there. Jacob's a sophomore. He'll end up being the lead horse for us, but should still get some time this year in the backfield. Has some in the scrimmages. Really getting better and better all the time. He's got a guy that's kind of got breakaway speed when he gets back there. He plays with a little extra burst. When he hits it, you're kind of like, who's that running the ball? Mm-hmm. And he makes those type plays. So he's going to be a really good player for us. We'll probably get in there some, but in the future will definitely be a lead back for us. At our H position, which could be like a slot or could be our extra back, is Tyler Belt. Tyler Belt's kind of our playmaker, I feel like. Can kind of do everything. He's a big play guy in the air. He's a big play guy on the ground. We'll use a lot of different ways to get him the football. When the ball's in his hands, we feel like something good can happen, and he's just a guy that to me, are probably offensively like the guy this year when I'm thinking about our offense starting out.
Yeah, there weren't. I didn't think there were a whole lot of bright spots over at Madisonville, but he was one of them.
Yes,
for sure.
He played well. He played well. Cameron Belcher is his backup. He's the kind of guy that's like Tyler. He can do all those things too. Man, he's extremely shifty. He makes some cuts and some moves. Getting bigger, getting more confident. Great hands. He'll be a weapon for us this year. Yeah. He's behind Tyler, but we'll play a lot of these guys. Cameron Belcher will get on the field, and he'll make big plays for us this year. We're really excited about him. Behind him is McDaniel. Bennett is like a true fullback. So when we go like true fullback sets, he's our bruiser. Like if we want to go I formation and things like that, he'll definitely get out there. When we want to go heavy run game type stuff and be a big lead blocker for us and bring some physicality to the offense. So it'll be in a somewhat limited role because we're spread, but when we go that big stuff, he'll definitely get his chances offensively. Mm-hmm. Casey Cates plays our Y position, which is our other slot. Casey Cates just been doing it for a long time. He's very mission consistent. Most of the time, the best hands on the field. Extremely tough. Man, he can take whatever, and that's important in the middle when you're playing the slot. Be able to go across the middle, take some shots. He took some last week against Madisonville. Pops right back up. I love that kid, and I love his toughness and his commitment every day. So
caught several balls over there.
Oh yeah, I don't know how.
One possession, I think he had 3 catches.
Yeah, we kind of I think Coach Berry figured out something offensively that really worked. And we just kept getting it back to Casey and ended up going to Casey. Catch it every time. They know it's coming, so then he starts kind of taking some big shots, but didn't bother him at all. Catch the ball and keep it moving. And that's who he is. That he's going to catch the ball and keep it moving. Yeah. That's the guy that he is. Behind him is Tyree McLean. We're extremely excited about Tyree. He can do a lot of different things. Extremely athletic. Been a great football player for a long time in the program. I remember watching him in Little League and how excited I was about him. And he had just came back this year, so this is his first year of actually playing high school football as a junior. But he'll be really good. He's just catching up, from everybody. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like he kind of is. And I'm just talking mentally, playbook, things like that. Athletically, he's caught up. Yeah. He's extremely good. Catch the ball, run the ball, whatever you want from him. He's a really good player. So he'll, like I was talking about Cameron, he'll get plenty of his chances. Different guys will start different weeks, honestly, and just what we need and what the game plan is. And he'll be out there a ton. Let's see, at Z, we got Caden Howard. Caden's a really good player, long, athletic. I think plays with a really good burst, can kind of take the top off of defenses and make people miss. Had a pretty good freshman year. We expect for him, to continue to get better. So we really expect a lot of things out of Caden and hope.
Of course, that's your nephew.
It is.
I know you maybe not.
Yeah. So I got to be a little careful with him.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, he's a player.
Yeah, we think that he could be really good and create some mismatches. So yeah.
And just by talking to him, the small amount that I have on the sideline, He's got a good grasp of what's going on.
Oh, yeah, extremely smart, intelligent. I think he really cares about football. Like, I think he wants to continue to play and things like that. So he really takes it serious, you know. So, yeah, like you said, he's my nephew. I don't want to talk about him too much. Behind him is Trey Taylor, kid that does everything the right way, has always shown up, and I hope that he can get some time in there, and he will. He can make some plays. Really good catcher of the football, going to be in the right spots, a guy you can trust, who always comes to work, always brightens up the day, too, of everybody. Man, he's just a kid, and you look at him, you smile, and he lightens things up, makes practice good. Those kids are really important to the team and to me as a coach. I just love that kid and love that he's a part of our team. Let's see. At X, we got Gabe Keller. Gabe, obviously, just by stature alone, he's, 6'4", 6'5", and just a huge mismatch just to start out size-wise. And it's just got better every year. Works so hard. Also, Mr. Consistent with his work ethic. He's always coming to work. You get the same Gabe Keller every day, and that's so important, especially out there at that position. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to be in the right spots. It means something to him, too. As his senior year, and it does a lot of them, and I could say this, but it's different. This is the last one, and you start to feel it. This is your last chance, and I think he'll be a big part. He's had a really good offseason. I really liked what he's done, and obviously I think he can create some mismatches with just his size. Behind him is Dakota Sosh, young sophomore that we really are high on. Catches the ball really well, runs some really nice routes. Really, really like his work ethic and his physicality. He's still only a sophomore, like I said, but when he gets out there, he can make some good things happen. We'll go to offensive line, starting with the center, which is Brand Sassy. Sassy started for us last year as a freshman. Didn't come in, but ended up, probably game 3. And played really well, especially for a freshman. He's a big kid, probably the biggest kid on our line, which isn't saying a whole lot, honestly. We're kind of small up front. But for us, he's big, and he's our bruiser. Man, we watched film the other day, and we just look and say, Coach Brand Sassy's good. Brand Sassy's really good. Brand Sassy is winning every play. And it's hard to tell. Like when a receiver wins and you score a touchdown, you see, but that center might get lost or some of them linemen. He is winning every play. I mean, he is beating his guy every play, winning his one-on-one matchup. I think even as a sophomore this year, he's going to be an absolute beast. I really do. I expect a whole lot out of him. That's all he's shown. Another kid, though, he is at weightlifting every day. And if he's not, if he's going to miss something, even in the off season, his mom was texting me 3 weeks before. If he's got a dentist appointment, so very accountable. He's going to be there every day. He's going to work really hard, and a lot of it, I think, comes from home as well. So it's really good to coach somebody like that and have that support at home. But when you look at players, and most of these guys are coming to weights. You know what I mean? Most of these guys have put in the work that are having success right now. So those things matter, and he's really put in the work.
Tanner Tabor was coaching him in youth football, and he told me I was doing a little report on the Little League football, and he told me his name, and Brand Sassy, and I said, what? How do you spell that? He said, let me tell you something. You better learn how to spell his name because you're going to be writing it a lot.
I agree. He's a really good player.
That was years ago. He was on the radar already.
Tanner's got a good eye. And his backup's Carson Yates, another kid we're really excited about. It's his first year coming back out for football, but it played traditionally all the way up through, I don't know when he decided to. I believe his freshman year, he just gave it up for a couple of years. But he'll be a junior for us, plays with really good technique, a guy that I think will be in the rotation that'll play some varsity football for us this year. And eventually, once he gets caught up with everything, he'll be a really good player for us. We're excited about having him back, that's for sure. At right guard, we got Lane West. Lane West came out last year and it was really good for us. Came out and pretty well started right away. And this year, I think that he has a grasp of everything. I think last year he just was good enough athletically and physically that he got out there and still played pretty well. But this year I expect to see a whole new Lane West. With it being his senior year, with having that year starting under his belt and just kind of learning the game of football and how things work and how you can maneuver guys and all those things, I expect for him to have a really good year. Senior year, we're really expecting big things from him. Behind him is Garrison Hall. Garrison is another young guy, only a sophomore. a really good kid to coach, always in the right spot. And, man, as he got better, like you see everyone get better, but in 1 year's time from his freshman year to his sophomore year is night and day. If he can continue to make those improvements, there's no telling how good he could be. It's really good to see, honestly, because you see these kids work hard. And, sometimes it's hard to see the change, especially for them. Mm-hmm. And he may not even realize it, but he is a completely different kid from last year to this year. And it's really good to see how much better he's gotten. Travis Blazina is our left guard. He's just a bull. He's small, short, and compact, and can really cause problems, really be physical up there for us. And another kid that just really loves football. Yeah. Blazina gives it everything he's got every day. He's going to be there in the off season. He was in my weightlifting class. Some of these others was too, but, we're lifting in school, and then we have after school, which they're excused from, or they always are. It's not mandatory, but we understand. We've already did the lift, and he's going to stay after and get drill work in. He's going to stay after and do something to get better, even though he's already did the lift that's up there and all those things. So he's a kid. What I admire about him is just how much he loves the game, and that's in his blood too. I know. Right. I think a lot of those Blazinas are that way, and it means something to him. And when you got guys that mean something to you, you always got a chance. Behind him is Michael Counts. That's Zach Counts' smaller brother. For the ones that don't know, Zach was a really good player for us, and Michael will be too. Only a sophomore. Really like that sophomore class. Really athletic for his size, a big guy, kind of like Zach. He's got good feet. He's got good explosion. He's a bigger type athlete. Once he gets the mental side of it down, I think that he could be a good player and could find himself in the rotation this year. But definitely will be a guy to be looking out for the future. Michael Counts will be a good player. Grayson James, our left tackle, a lot of grit with that kid is what I think about. Just the toughness that he plays with, the nastiness that he plays with. Gives it everything he's got every play. You don't got to worry about Grayson. He's going to give you absolutely everything every day. Empty the tank. Has put in the work. I think he kind of surprised people with how good he was last year with a lot of the injuries and things that happened up front. He kind of became our leader up there and our guy. And with that being said, I think it's brought confidence into his senior year as well. So it's good to see the confidence that he's gained, and I expect for him to have an absolutely monster year on offense and defense. Behind him is Aiden Curnel. Aiden came out and started playing football, I believe, in high school. I'm not sure if he had played before, but, man, he's another one that's just made great strides. He's a big kid, too, one of the bigger kids on the team, which is always good. And behind Grayson, this probably won't necessarily be his year for varsity, but the growth that he's shown, next year we really expect big things for him to step in. And you never know what can happen. Always it could be the next guy up, but we think that he'll end up being a very good player. And then at right tackle is Keegan Pearson. He is a long, athletic kid. This will be his first year starting, also only a sophomore. We think that he could be really good out there, especially in that position, what we're asking him to do. Good pass blocker, and that's what we need out there at those tackles. Screens and things like that. He's athletic, so can run out there in space. We're not big up front at all, but we got guys that can move up there. So I believe Coach Barry will play that to our advantage, and he's a guy that can really get the job done. Caden Travis is behind him, and it's kind of 1A, 1B there as well. They're still kind of battling out that position. Caden came in last year and played outstanding offensively. Wasn't a guy that we necessarily expected to play going into the year, but with the injuries, he got his chance and came in and did a really good job. I think he's taking it extremely serious now, where he's just kind of young before and just out there, but now I think he understands and it's important to him, and you see a big difference of him and how he's played. So we expect big things to him. He'll definitely be one that's playing on Friday nights on both sides of the football.
Yeah. Before we start our defensive side, let's take a quick break and recognize some of our sponsors. All right, now we're going to get going on the defensive side of the football. That's Coach Courtney's favorite, right?
Yes, it is. I can't lie. I love all parts of it, but the defensive side is definitely my favorite. I'm just going to start with Keller, Gabe Keller, same guy. And a lot of these guys will be repeated, so I won't go on and say. But defensively at corner, just from a strategic standpoint, just like at receiver, he's really long and can cover a lot of ground, so it's the same type thing. Trey Taylor is the same thing on offense. Is a guy that you can trust out there. It's going to be in the right spots. And people don't realize how much of football, at least in our strategy, is just doing what you're supposed to do. Just do your job, be in the right spots. You don't have to be super athlete, super fast, super strong, super big. There's just about 11 guys out there that can do what they're supposed to do, and it doesn't take something crazy to do that. So, and he's a guy that we can definitely put out there, and he'll be in the right spots. Jacob Carter is the back that we talked about. He'll be our starting corner as of right now. There is a battle for that position between him and Cameron. They're both young. This will be their first year starting, and both showing some really good things. So they're battling out that spot. I think it'll come down to tackling, honestly. You think a corner and you think a cover. It'll be which one tackles better to see who comes up with that spot. But we know we like to play a lot of guys, and both those guys will be playing on Friday night. So they'll be rotating in at that spot starting out. Free safety is Tyler Belt. He was free safety last year. He's just a great athlete in the middle of the field. He can, chase people down if runs break. He can take away the middle of the field in the pass game. So I expect him to have a really good year. Trey Scott's a kid that we haven't talked about, who will be his backup, and a guy that I think will probably play on Friday nights. He got hurt in the let's say that was the first scrimmage, so he's still out. He's still questionable for this week, but man, he comes downhill. He plays extremely hard, lays the boom like you want a safety to. As soon as he sees run, he's downhill. He looks like a middle linebacker coming from 12 yards, and he's not real big in stature, but man, he flies around. So I expect for him to have.
He kind of stood out a little bit in the spring game.
Yeah,
I'd never heard his name before, and I said, "Who's that kid?"
Yeah, he's really good. Gatton Travis is at our Sam. Starter there last year. Expect really good things out of him. Summers is his backup, somebody that could still get in there, even though he's a quarterback. Right now, he's in that reserve role, so he's somebody that could help us out defensively. Bennett McDaniel's a middle linebacker, quarterback of our defense. Just really, really important piece. He got a little banged up last week, the week before. I don't know how many tackles he had, but it seemed like about every one. He's a difference maker out there, and our hammer and our leader. So hopefully we can get him back and full healthy this week. But behind him was Braden Poindexter. I've told a lot of people he might be the smartest kid that I've ever coached, and he's only a sophomore. Got a really good understanding, and it's so important for what we do. That middle linebacker is the quarterback of the defense and really has to have a great understanding of what everyone's doing, and he does that. And he's playing really well, so I'm excited about him. He'll definitely be a rotator guy in this year. He won't be somebody that just sits behind as a second-string guy. He'll be in there on Friday nights. Levi Piper's at Willie. Really good tackler, tracks the ball really well. He's a good athlete, so he makes a difference. He started linebacker there last year as well, so he's back. Behind him is French. French is the guy that's trying to work himself into the mix. He's a guy that eventually will get there and be a really good player. It's just when that time will be. But we really like Blake and how he's come along. I feel that it also kind of like I mentioned with Caden, just kind of grew up this year and is taking it more serious in his role and really wants to get out there, not just wear the uniform. And I saw that change in him this year, so I'm excited about him. At Rocket right now is Casey Cates. Not traditionally played defense for us, but did a pretty good job. So we're excited about having him there. Behind him is Tyree, which we've mentioned a lot. Tyree is good. Everything he can do on offense, he can do on defense as well. He can cover, he can tackle, he can get off blocks. He can do anything on the defensive side of the ball just like he can on offense. Whip is Caden Howard. We've liked how he's played defensively. Once again, he gets after it. He played there a lot last year, so we expect for him to be a key part of our defense. Behind him is Dakota Sosh. We expect for him to get out there some. Those are two sophomores in the same position. Eventually something's going to have to move because we're not going to be able to keep them behind each other at once. We're going to have to get them both out there. And I think Dakota will play some on Friday nights this year. At left end, we got Grayson James. I expect for him to be a dominant defensive end. That's what we expect out of him. We've had a really good run of defensive ends. Good run. And I expect he needs to be the next really good one that we're talking about. The Dylan Yateses, the Preston Turleys, the Noah McGowans, Adam Beavers just keep going down the list. Every year it seems like we have that Case Gobin. I shouldn't have left him out from last year. But every year we have that guy, and he needs to be that guy this year. At right end, right now is actually going to be Caden Travis starting this week. Man, he's played outstanding defensively. He's a guy that's traditionally played linebacker, and he's probably not going to start linebacker, but he's too good not to be out there somewhere. And then you put him in, and it's like he just found his position. Yeah. He's just really good there, really good off the ball. Really like some speed guys down there. If you're big and fast, that's great, but really what we want is speed down there. We know that we're not going to out-big anybody, so let's try to use our advantage, and we feel like it's speed, and he really gives us a different type of speed down there. Behind him will be Lane West, especially with him starting offense too. It kind of gives us a chance to stay fresh too with Caden in there starting. So he'll be a guy that'll play a whole lot of defense as well at both ends and at nose guard, and we expect him to be really good. At the nose guard position, we got Braden Mankey, who's probably a new kid to most guys. He moved here, I don't know when, but sometime last year. He was able to play in the spring game. Mm-hmm. But he kind of fits the mold of all the nose guards that we've always had. The Lathan Easleys, the Sammy Impastados. He's a smaller, faster, kind of fullback type of what you would think, and can really get in the gap and cause people trouble. What stands out making most is how hard he plays. He plays extremely hard.
He came from the West Coast.
Yeah, came from Washington State. Yeah, Washington State. Yeah, so I'm glad he landed here.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have him. Blazina would be his backup, and it's the same thing. He just plays really hard, and he's physical down there too if we need to go with a bigger guy. And Brand Sassy behind him, even if we need to go with a bigger guy. So just gives us some size down there, because sometimes you do need it. Mm-hmm. You need to get your beef down there. And those are two guys that are very capable of doing it. Yep, so that's it defensively.
Defensively, now special teams wise, kicker, holders, punters, returners.
Yeah, the kicking situation, honestly, we're still trying to figure out. Just the consistency of it. Mm-hmm. We got Braden Mankey and Micah Newcomb. At times, both of them look like they're the kicker, and at times, both of them look like they're not. So we're just figuring that out. Keegan is also a kid that can kick, especially kick off, a bigger kid. We're going to figure the kicking situation out. But to be 100% honest, we're still working through that, and will maybe for a couple of weeks into the season. Friday nights happen, and you're kicking especially. It's kind of who can handle those lights too, and who they don't get to.
And that's another string of great players we've had at kicker. Just hadn't had to worry about it.
Right.
We've had those automatic guys.
Yep.
Ran out of Perkinses, didn't we?
Yeah, Perkins. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep. So we'll figure it out. At the holder position, if Mike is not kicking, he'll be holding. If Mike is kicking, then it'll be Quinn Summers. They both do a very good job at that. So at our punter, it'll be Micah Newcomb punting and Levi Piper's backup. Both guys that can get it done and make the right decisions there and get the ball down the field. Let's see. What's here?
Return.
Oh, our return guys, sorry. Tyler Belt and Caden Howard will be our two return guys back in kickoff, and the same thing in punting situations. If we have two, it'll be both of those guys. If not, if it's just one, we'll start out with Tyler. But we'll probably it's kind of one of those things too, kind of fill out who can catch punts and what you can do with it. You kind of need to see it in live action and something in the scrimmage you don't get to do. So, but that's where we're going to start out. We feel really good about those two guys.
Yeah. So, Coach Courtney, we go over to Webster County on the road, first game. And correct me if I'm wrong, weren't we over there first game last year?
Was that first game?
We were
there.
Over there
we were
last
over
year.
there. I don't believe it was the first game.
So we're there twice just by the scheduling.
Right, just because it's a new contract, new
yeah.
scheduling. So, and then we got moved, obviously, and they had new teams moving in their district. So, schedule just completely changes on that new cycle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was one of those that had to be back to back there.
Yeah. Well, the game time will be 7 o'clock, correct? Because we used to be traditionally 7:30. The last few years, we've gone back to 7 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7.
Anything else changed? Tickets, we're on GoFan now.
We're on GoFan, and on that, won't necessarily be a link after talking to them, but you'll download the app GoFan, then you'll search Crittenden County High School, and I believe you did it the other day as well. You like them or something?
Yes, you download the app, and call, do a search and get your school, and hit the little heart like button.
Right.
And then it'll populate those games for you.
Right. The whole schedule will be there, and you just click on that game from my understanding.
The best thing I can tell about this is that you can put your information in there, your credit card information. You don't have to put it in every time like some of the electronic tickets that we've had in the past.
Right.
I think this is going to work better. so far with some of the fall sports that are underway, that everybody is giving pretty good reviews.
Right. And this is what we're using at our place as well, too. Yeah. So Webster used it. A lot of other schools are going to it, so hopefully there's some consistency there. And also, you can do your credit card at the gate, I believe, as far as swiping it. That's what I was told.
I know you can here now.
Yep, and that's what I was told there as well. So I wouldn't take any chances on it personally. If it's me, I'd go ahead and get on that app and do it. But that is what I was told.
Yeah. Yeah, that people will like that a good bit more too. Yeah. It's just it's been a challenging move into the electronic realm of ticketing, and been some hiccups, but I think it's straightening out.
It seems like we're getting better.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, I think so.
It's here
it seems to.
Yeah. All right, Coach Courtney. Well, hey, great first show, man. We covered a lot of territory, didn't we?
Yeah, no, there's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
We didn't talk about half of it.
We didn't get into some of the other stuff, but the good news is we'll have 10 or 11 more shows to go, at least.
Hopefully more.
Yeah, get to the state championship.
It's always the goal.
Yeah, all right. Well, Rocket fans, we'll cut it down for this week, but join us every Thursday for the show here, and it's all about Rocket football. We'll see you Friday night over at Dickerson at Webster County.